Shalom, Israel. Honor to the Most High and Saint Yahushua. We are the Battle Axes coming at you with another Wednesday night class to get edified in the Most High God's name. We always give praise on the glory to our Maker for giving us the allowance to be amongst the living as we pushing forward toward the kingdom, man, and trying to endure this temptation of this flesh. So these classes should help you uplift your spiritual game, your spiritual discernment. That's why we have classes every day. And we thank the Most High God for his classes to try to edify his nation, as well as keep pushing and striving for ourselves. You know, the Bible said iron sharpens iron, so we got to make sure that we stay on point as well. And you know, it's just a blessing for the Most High to give us this word tonight. We're asking that he speak through us. The name of the class tonight is "The Works of the Most High Are 2 and 2." The works of the Most High are 2 and 2. What we going into? If the Lord made good, he made evil. Right? If he made light, he made day. Right? He made up, he made down. These works of the Most High God are 2 and 2. So it has to be a what? A winner, has to be a loser, right?
Not everybody can win. Huh?
Everybody can't win in the Most High God's eyes, right? There has to be a chosen and a not chosen. There has to be Israel and some heathen, right? So we'll just show all the works of the Most, well, not all of them, but the works of the Most High God and how he made things 2 and 2. First precept we'll go to is Isaiah 5 and 20. Shout out to all my bros out there, man. Battle Axes, man. Yaakov, Memphis. Shout out to all my family, man. Isaiah 5 and 20. 5 and 20.
The book of Isaiah 5 and 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil.
So the Bible saying that there's a good and there's an evil. He says, woe to them that call evil good and good evil, right? So that means there's a difference. The Most High is putting a difference, a cutoff between good and evil. And he's saying it's destruction for those who want to call evil good, right? And we see that in the world today. Like smoking a little weed, ain't never heard. That's evil. The Most High, but the Most High calls it evil, but the world wants to call it good, right? Eating this pork and this shrimp and lobster, all this stuff, it's evil to the Most High God, but the world loves it, right? So the Bible is putting a difference between this in this one passage. Read this again.
Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light.
And see, that put darkness for light. You see how the Most High is breaking down these things in this one scripture? Good versus evil, right?
Sure.
Darkness versus light, right? These things will go hand in hand, 2 and 2. Read.
And light for darkness.
That
put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
The same thing. It's bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter, right? If you taste something that got that honey, it got that sweet taste to it, right? You taste something that's kind of old and it'll worn out and ain't got no salt in them, it's kind of bitter. These things are opposite of each other, right? You always have the Most High God's works as an opposer, right? It's always an opposer to his works. You have good set against evil, light set against darkness, right? Sweet against bitter, right? These things are how the Most High God makes everything that he does, right? This ought to prove to the world and to the nation that everybody is not equal. Everybody is not the same. Right? Because the Most High made all of his works 2 and 2. Let's go to Sirach 33 and 13. Well, Esau and the love to say, oh yeah, we grafted in here, the Lord says, look, no. We see that that's a lie. The Most High made all of his works 1 for and 1 for against.
The book of Sirach 33 and 13. As the clay is in the potter's hand, to fashion it as his pleasure.
And that's the thing about it. The clay is in the potter's hand. We are that clay. The potter is the Most High God. And it said to do what? To fashion it at his pleasure. This is the Most High God's work right here, man. It is his will. People love to say, I just don't understand why the Most High would have made all these other nations. Well, it ain't for you to understand. Because you are not the potter. You are the clay. Simple as that. You were formed, right? You were created. You were created by the Creator. So it's not for you to understand everything, but it's definitely for you to get wisdom and knowledge and understanding. That's why people don't have an understanding, because they don't seek the things out the way that the Most High God wants them to. Right. You know, we got to go into living the life of the Israelite, like Jerubbaal always say. You got to become an Israelite, live the life of the Israelite. Have to keep the commandments, man. Psalm 111-10, they should know that those that keep the commandments have more understanding than those that don't. Right? Read that again.
As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure.
So it's at his pleasure to fashion this world like he wants to. And let's see how he fashioned this world. Read.
So man is in the hand of him that made him.
So man is in the hand of him that made him. You are just a pawn, man. You are just vessels. And the Most High says it's a life thing that you are serving on the Most High God. It's like that the Most High God want to use you, man. You are just a pawn in this game, man. Right? Well, let's see how the Most High God fashioned this world or his pleasure. Read out.
To render to them as liketh him best.
To render to them as liketh him best. Right? Him best. Not you. Him best. Read on.
Good is set against evil.
So this is how he fashioned this thing to his pleasure. He set good against evil. Did he say that the same? Did he say they were running mates? They were partners? He said good is set against evil. Read on.
And life against death.
And life is set against death. These are the 2 and 2 that the Most High God has said. You got one side and you got the other side. This is all of his works. This is how he fashioned this world to his pleasure. Read on.
So is the godly against the sinner.
So is the godly against the sinner. And you see that. These Edomites, these people out here, they don't give a damn about the Lord's work. They just want to make sure that you ain't learning who you are. They just want to stay on top of this game. They don't give a damn about the Lord's will. They don't care about the laws. They don't care about how much I coming out of that sky. Because they know ain't no way in hell that Cedric Bojur's coming out of that sky to save them, man. They know this. You can look at their God and tell he's not about to bust a grape, man. And who front yard?
Welch.
And Welch's front yard, man. You can see this thing. They're not worried about that. They just want to stay in their position, man. And to keep you in a docile state of mind, to keep you thinking that God loves everybody. You're my brother, right? But the Most High said it was his pleasure to set good against evil. To set what? Life against death, right? To set the sinner against the godly. Guess what, y'all? Everybody not out here and not gonna make it. We know that. But there's some people out here that set up for evil. You just gotta make sure that you detour around them. There's some people out here, souls out here that set up for evil, man. He just said the sinners are set against the godly. Mm-hmm. That's his work. Some people out here, boy, look at you. What you think they all peachy cream, but they really devils, man. But it take your spiritual gain and knowledge to understand it. He set this thing up for his pleasure, right? So we got good against evil, life against death, the sinner against the godly. Read on.
So look upon all the works.
Look upon some of the works.
Look upon all the works.
Most of the works.
All the works.
That's a key word in this scripture. Look upon what works? All of the works of the Most High, man. Look upon all of his works. All of them. So that means what? Man being created, right? It had to be one against another, right? That means the laws. It had to be law against sin, right? Every work of the Most High God has to have a winner and a loser, or an enemy and an avenger, right? Every work of the Most High God. Read that again.
So look upon all the works of the Most High. And there are 2 and 2.
And there are 2 and 2. This is the part. Read.
One against another.
Read that again.
So I look upon all the works of the Most High. And there are 2 and 2.
Read.
One against another.
One against another. One against another. One is set against another. We can't get around that. All of his works, right? It goes all the way back to what? To Genesis. When Rebecca had the 2 nations in her womb. What were they doing? Warring. Because that let's just go to it right quick. Let's go to Genesis. Matter of fact, before we go to 25, man, let's go there first. Every work of the Most High God is one against another. Remember that precept, man, in the nice class. Remember 33 and 14 and 15, right? Good is set against evil, life against death, the godly against the sinner. But all the works of the Most High God are 2 and 2, right? One against another. One against another, right? Let's read this. Genesis 25. Start at 23. What's 22?
22? All right. Genesis 25, 22. And the children struggled together within her.
So these are the two nations that struggled within Rebekah's womb.
And she said,
so like, read that again, verse 22.
No, good. And the children struggled together within her.
The children struggled. Why? Did it give you an understanding why they struggled? When you read down it will, but we get a more clear understanding through Sirach, right? To show you why they struggled. Because it was a chosen seed and it was a seed that was not chosen. Right? Read on.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. Mm-hmm. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
How many nations?
2 nations are in thy womb.
2 separate people. 2 different nations are in thy womb. Read.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
2 different acting people, right? Shall be separated from her bowels, right? Read on.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other.
So you see that? It's already said the vice verses. One gonna be strong, and one gonna be weak, basically, right? Read on.
And the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
So we read down. Let me just read down. Let's read down. Let's keep reading.
And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau.
So this is the first encounter of the so-called red man, which is Esau. Because when we read that, Jacob was not characterized or described, right? Mm-hmm. Because he looked like everybody else. But you get this first encounter of this red, hairy, stringy dog, right? And they have to give you to understand that, hey, it's 2 nations. The first nation, it's a different nation. We ain't seen this one. Okay. But the second one, we done seen this one before. We ain't got to describe him. Read.
And after that came his brother out. And his hand took hold on Esau's heel.
Read on.
And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare him.
So you see, it's no description of Jacob because Jacob was already of the people, right? He already looked the same. Read that.
And the boys grew. And Esau was a cunning hunter. A man of the field.
Now you're finna get the 2 and 2, right? Because now you get Esau as a cunning hunter, a man of the field. Read on.
And Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
But you see, we wasn't about that life, right? We was a plain man. You see, they verses. They have different characteristics. They have different agendas in life, right? That's how we are. We ain't trying to go out there and kill no damn rhinoceros and put it on our wall for what? We don't want that on our wall. We don't want it in our house. No, don't put that down. You still eating my baby come out the field with a possum, man. Look what I caught. Jay, come on, well, you better put that down. Put that shit down, man. We don't give a damn about that, man. The hell you get that from? They are. That's right. What was you doing? 2 and 2, right? You're getting different characteristics of these nations, man. Even the Most High God, all of his works were 2 and 2, right? And this, you see this within Jacob and Esau, right? Because Jacob was a plain man. We chill. Well, we like to kick back. Have a little party at the house, right? Chill under the tree. Esau and they want to go have a party in the sea, right? Let's go to the sea. Let's go have a scuba diving party, right?
Hell no.
Us in the chair, everybody, the 4-year-old child, he's scuba diving till he get his ass beat up by a bunch of pack of piranhas, man. We ain't like that. So you see that all the works of the Most High are 2 and 2, man. Let's go to 2 Maccabees 6 and 12. Just want to touch on that a little bit, man. 2 Maccabees 6 and 12. Now, this is Maccabees love before this pre-show.
2 Maccabees 6 and 12. Now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation.
So he's saying the punishments that we go through is not for destroying us, it's for chastising us as a nation, right? Read on.
For it is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished.
But read on.
For not as with other nations.
But it's not with other nations. See how the Most High, he even deals with one nation different from other nations? You see this? This is 2 and 2. He said he don't even deal with other nations the same way he deal with us. He said it's us. When he punish us, it's not to destroy us, right? It's just for the chastening of our nation, for us to learn and grow, right? But 14 he said, not as with other nations. Read on.
Whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish.
Because when you're trying to correct the child, do you let him keep acting up? Is he gonna learn from that? No. The Most High God gonna whoop your butt and wants you to learn from it. But Esau and these heathen nations, you keep doing exactly what you do. Jerubbaal said that out there in Memphis. He said he don't want y'all to get right. Yeah. He don't want y'all to get right. He patiently forbearing to whoop y'all butt. He don't want y'all to get right. He wants the Israelites to get right. That's why he chastens. And it's not for to destroy you, but for the chastening of a nation, for you to understand. But with these other nations, he said what? 14 again?
For not as with other nations, whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish.
He patiently forbeareth to punish them. Why?
Till they become to the fullness of their sin.
Because now this is destruction. This punishment that they getting, this is for the fullness of their sin, to do what? To destroy them. And we see that in the scriptures, man. We go to the book of Obadiah, Revelations, show you that he's going to destroy these nations of people, right? This is for destruction of them. But he said it's not for the destruction of Israel. Right? Read on.
So dealeth he with us.
So he dealeth with us different than he deals with other nations, right? These are verses. Israel, like my class, Israel versus everybody, versus the heathen, right? Because he deals with other nations differently from us, man. Let's go to Malachi 1 and 4. People love to say, I don't know why the Most High would have made the so-called white man if he made them for what he made them for, man. Because good is set against evil, man. And they are evil, man. Like they said, if you got 10 poisonous snakes and 10 not poisonous snakes, you're not going to stick your hand in there and see which one ain't poison. Because at the end of the day, they all snakes, right? They all are still snakes.
Malachi 1 and 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus say the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
Well, let's start at 1, man. Let's just read on. Let's read out from there.
God. Verse 1. The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi.
And you see in the scripture, the Lord is always talking to Israel, right?
God.
He's letting you know that he's not talking to the other nations. You've never seen the Lord say, the burden to the heathen, the burden to Esau. He's always saying to Israel, right?
God.
If he's talking about Esau, he's talking about their destruction. He's talking about their judgment. If he's talking about the heathens, he's talking about what they did and how they're going to get destroyed for what they did. Read on.
I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherewhen hast thou loved us?
And you see, he said, I loved you. Not everybody. He said he's talking to Israel. So I loved you. So when Jesus loves me, you're a damn lie. He said, I loved you, Israel. And then he goes to prove it. Read.
Was not Esau Jacob's brother?
So when Esau Jacob's brother? Read on.
Said the Lord, yet I love Jacob.
But he said, yet I still love Jacob and I what?
And I hated Esau.
And I hated Esau. Love goes against what? Hate. Right? So you get Israel against the heathen nations. And right now we're talking about Esau. But you got to love the works of the Most High. This work of the Most High God is love versus hate. Right? These are works 2 and 2. Read on.
And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build a desolate place.
Read on.
Thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
So the Most High saying that no matter how much they build this thing back up, eventually they're going to get torn down and thrown down. Read.
And they shall call them the border of wickedness. And the people.
The what?
The people.
The who?
The people.
The people. You can't get around this thing. We're talking about Esau, Edom as a nation. As the people, right? We ain't talking about your cattle. We ain't talking about your resources. We're talking about the people that the Most High God has or what?
The people against whom the Lord have indignation forever.
The people whom the Lord have indignation forever. He has a problem with this nation of people forever. How in the hell is he going to put these people back into our fold or say that they get back into our fold? And he said he have a problem with these damn people forever. You ain't never seen one scripture where the Lord said, I love Jacob and I love Esau. You never seen it. How in the hell are they going to get on the love side when there's a hate side and they're on the hate side? He said they are 2 and 2. Then Malachi 3 and 6 says, what the Lord changes not, man. So you can't try. That's what Esau love to hit us with. Hey, y'all rejected the Lord. Yes, some of us did. But you go to Acts 4 and 4 and show that we always come a multitude that believed on the Most High God, right? So you can't miss us with that. You are on the hate side, man, right? Whom the Lord have indignation forever, man. See that one? So we seeing that the Most High, all of his works, even dealing with his people, man. Let's go to Esther in the Apocrypha, chapter 10. The rest of it. Can't get around this thing, man. They can show try though. It was when we wasn't built up though, when we wasn't learning, when we didn't have the spirit of the Ruach on us, man. When we wasn't getting built up in these scriptures, yeah, they could get over on us, man. Like now, like we always say, we can read now, man. We have understanding now, man. You can't keep trying to get foot of wood over our head, man. The rest of 10 and 10.
10 and 10.
Matter of fact, let's start at 9 now.
The rest of Esther, 10 and 9. And my nation is this Israel.
And my nation is this Israel. Is my nation everybody or my nation Israel? My nation is this Israel. Read.
Which cried to God and were saved. For the Lord hath saved his people.
Who?
His people.
What's the precept? The Lord has saved his people. Saved his people.
168.
Well, who will Christ come back and save?
Israel. Luke 168.
Luke 1 and 6. There you go to what? Matthew 1 and 21, man.
Matthew 2 and 6.
Right? But the Lord will save his people, man. Right? Read on.
And the Lord have delivered us from all those evils, and God have wrought signs and great wonders, which have not been done among the Gentiles.
And you see that? He wrought signs and great wonders that have not been done among the Gentiles. The signs and the wonders were not been done unto the Gentiles because they're on the hate side. They're not on the love side. The love of the Most High God is giving us signs and wonders. The love of the Most High God is waking us up, reopening our minds to what? Us coming back to our nationality. Okay. But these signs and wonders that open up to his love, he didn't open up to his hate, which are the Gentiles, right? Read on.
Therefore, has he made 2 lots.
You see this? He made 2 lots. So we go there 2 and 2. Read on.
One for the people of God.
One for the people of God.
And another for all the Gentiles.
And another for the Gentiles. Every work of the Most High God is 2 and 2. The lot for Israel and the lot for everybody else, man. This is the way he fashioned this world, man. This is how he fashioned his work, man. 2 and 2. Read that again.
Therefore, have he made 2 lots, one for the people of God?
No, 3 lots.
2 lots.
4 lots.
2 lots.
12 lots.
2 lots.
16.
2 lots.
9.
2 lots.
3.
2 lots.
6.
2 lots.
12.
2 lots.
2 lots, man. You either or you're not, man. Read on.
One for the people of God, and another for all the Gentiles.
All the Gentiles, man. Right? You see, these are the works of the Most High God. And we know, like I said, it's Israel versus everybody. It's his chosen versus the rest of the world, man. Why would God make him like that? Because he wanted to show his power. To show that 17 nations can't deal with one chosen nation. That's what he wanted to show them. 15 nations can't mess with my chosen nation. 12 nations can't mess with my chosen nation. That's why he did it. Read on.
And these 2 lots.
And these 3 lots.
And these 2 lots.
5 lots.
2 lots.
7.
2 lots.
12.
2 lots.
Read on.
Came at the hour and time and day of judgment before God among all nations.
And these 2 lots came before the hour and the time of judgment, man, right? Read on.
So God remembered his people.
God remembered everybody.
His people. And justified his inheritance.
See that? His people, his inheritance, man. His works are 2 and 2, man. Right? 2 Maccabees, 4 and 5. Now, give me 4 and 15.
The book of 2 Maccabees, 4 and 15. Not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
So we didn't, and we know this is the cut to Israel, man, because we didn't like the honor of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We didn't like the work that they did. Not our forefathers, but the Grecians, right? Most of all, but the heathen, right? Read on.
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them, for they had them to be their enemies and avengers.
You see that? Enemies and avenger. They can't be on the same side. There's no way possible. If he made his works 2 and 2, ain't no way in hell your enemy can be your avenger at the same damn time. You can't do it. And we know Psalms 83 showed us the Most High showed all of our enemies, man. That means they cannot be on our same side, man. They can't be in your building. They can't be in your classrooms. They damn sure can't be in your camps, man. They can't be in your Godspeed. I bid you good Godspeed. No, hell no.
Bid you goddamn.
God, that's what we bid. Destruction, that's what we bid, man. Right? They can't be there because he said, we like the Grecians to be our enemy and our avenger. That's a problem. Because his works are 2 and 2. And you're either an enemy or you are being avenged from your enemy. You can't be an enemy and the avenger. And what the Most High God said about our enemies? That's a good answer. That's a good answer. He said, don't trust them. Boy, you all crazy. Let's go to Exodus right quick.
You want me to finish it?
We'll go back. Go to Exodus 23, man. and 20.
Book of Exodus 23 and 20. Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice.
We know this angel is going into Christ, man, right? Just a capitalized angel. Read on.
Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgression. For my name is in him.
And you see that the Most High God's name is in Christ. Read on.
But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak,
read on,
then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies.
So the Most High said he will be an enemy unto our enemies, right? Not an enemy and an event. No, he will be an enemy to our enemies and what?
And an adversary unto thy adversary.
And the adversary unto thy adversary. You see, It's 2 and 2. An enemy and an adversary. Esau will be an adversary to your adversary, right? So it's two sides to this ball game, man. So when we go back to 2 Maccabees, and it said, by reason of sore calamities came upon them, for they hid them, they had them to be their enemies and avengers. It don't make sense. That can't be possible because the Most High works are 2 and 2, right? Read that again. Read 16.
By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them, for they had them to be their enemies and avengers, whose custom they followed so earnestly.
Who custom they followed so earnestly, man. See, we want to follow the customs of the heathen nations, man. But we wasn't made like the heathen nations. We on the love side, they on the hate side, read.
And unto whom they desired to be like in all things.
And we want to be like them so bad, but I bet you don't want that judgment they're going to get. That's just like Esau. They love to talk about, who was a mixed multitude, right? Like I said, why the mixed multitude didn't fall into the Syrian captivity? Or the Babylon captivity, right? Or the Persian Mede captivity. Because they sure don't want that hurt, but they want that work. And the Most High say he only work for the Israelites, according to Romans 9 and 4.
And that's crazy how they think. They think about a lie all the time. They mindset is, man, they mindset, like you say, it's always a lie. It's always, just think about how they roll. They know damn well this Bible is cutting their ass to shreds, and they don't give a damn. They still gonna hold on to it. Even if it say it right there, they like, damn, he said, well, it says this. Like, no, Esau, no.
What the hell was that Esau was reading down there in Memphis, man? That was that the Lord said to Israel. He just went right by. I said, no.
It was Corinthians.
Read it again. And he read it again, like, well, it's still then when he said, well, let's put doctrine to the side. Hell no.
This is Acts 10, 30, 34, I think.
Hell no. We ain't putting no doctrine to the side, boy. We out here putting work in for the doctrine, man. We fighting for the doctrine, man. Right? So they know this thing, man. Like I said, man, it's crazy how they hold on to it. But you see, they can't be our enemy and avenger because they are different sides. It's 2 and 2.
Yeah.
They don't add up.
That was in Acts chapter 10. He read it down. He had started verse.
Oh, yeah, and it went down to 34, 35, 36.
Yeah,
it was 36.
Yeah, 36.
That's what it was, boy. Clearly said Israel. He tried to slide past that thing. What? Now read it again. Something else, man. Let's go to Psalm 37 and 27. Yes, Psalm 37 and 27. The works of the Most High are 2 and 2.
The book of Psalms 37, 27. Depart from evil and do good.
Read that again.
Depart from evil and do good.
So you see in the Psalm, King David, when there's no depart from evil, because evil is one side, and do it. Do good. Go to the other side, right? You can't be in the middle of this thing. That's the thing. Most High said you can't be lukewarm. He don't want you to be lukewarm, and you can't be lukewarm. You need to be all the way for the Most High, all the way against him. Because when you go back to Sirach 33, I'm just gonna go to it. Y'all ain't gotta go to it. But he said, so look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are 2 and 2, one against another. Did he say it was a middle anywhere? Was it anywhere to be on the middle, play both sides?
Great side, great area.
No gray area. There's no gray area. So the Most High said, if you go be wicked Monday and Wednesday and Thursday, but then come around on Sabbath and try to be holy, you might well go and be wicked Saturday too. Might as well. Because you got one side to play. It's either the good side or the evil side. It's either the righteous side or the unrighteous side. It's either the holy side or the profane side. It's the light side or the dark side. But it's not a middle. It's not a gray area. Right? Read that again.
Depart from evil and do good. And dwell forevermore.
And dwell forevermore. So you see good is set against evil, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy 32 and 39.
32.
Yeah. Every work of the Most High God has two sides. It has to be a good, it has to be a bad.
What you say, that should have say it must
Be two sides. And that's why you say you from the west side. It must be two sides. Must be two west sides. Israel, you talking about you from here? Esau, you talking about you from where you from? What tribe you from? Well, damn, must be two tribes. You know, they be trying to say they Judah. That's the only tribe they hear. You ain't never heard anybody say they from any other tribe, right?
I'm from Leslie.
That's how you had a hoodie.
We ain't talking about no water. So we ain't talking about no water. Talking about no water. Levy, we ain't talking about no water.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Levi.
Or they be like, cool.
Read this, man.
The book of Deuteronomy 32:39.
Right, read.
See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me.
Read on.
I kill, and I make alive.
So you see that? See how the Most High, all of his works? This is the Most High God speaking. This ain't no God with me, right? He said, I kill and I make alive, right? That's what? Life and death, right?
Yeah.
They are 2 and 2, right? They're on opposite sides. If you ain't dead, then damn it you living, right? And if you ain't living, then damn it you dead. Right? Ain't no gray area in there, right?
Yeah.
Read.
I wound and I heal.
You see that? Another two-sided. If you wounded, how do you clear from being wounded? Healing up. So you either wounded or you healing up. The Most High God said, I heal wounds, right? But they are 2 and 2. They're on different sides. So last time I checked, the wound don't feel good at all. And I know. A wound don't feel good at damn all, man. But what he does is that he heals those things up. I know, Mama, right? You got, Israel, we love to throw any kind of cuss out there. Damn, the wound don't damn feel good at damn all. Damn. So you see the two sides to the Most High God has this thing, right? Yeah. He said, I kill and I make alive, right? He said, I wound and I heal. Read.
Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand.
Right? You see the two sides. 1 Samuel 2 and 6. Just to show you, everything of the Most High God's works are 2 and 2, man. It's two-sided, man.
1 Samuel 2 and 6. The Lord killeth and maketh alive.
So you see it saying the same thing. It's a precept. Read up.
He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up.
He bring it down to the grave and bring it up, right? When you die, you get on that dirt, right? That grave. But then that soul, that spirit, what goes right back up to the Most High God, right? They are 2 and 2. Read.
The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich.
You see that? Because if you ain't rich, you what? You're poor. If you ain't poor, you're rich, right? Especially in this kingdom, right? There ain't no in between this thing, man.
Try to give you the middle class.
Man, ain't no damn middle class, man. And they don't give a damn about the middle class. They don't give a damn about their own class, the rich class. Yeah. So the most I say, you make it poor and you make it rich. He what?
He bringeth low and lift it up.
You see that? So high and low, man. Bring it low and lift it up, man. These are all the works of the Most High God, and they are 2 and 2. Read.
He raiseth up the poor out of the dust. And lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill.
And this is going into what? Heaven and hell. Right? He lifted the poor. He raised the poor out of the dust. Right? Because that's our heaven that we receive, man, the poor. Right? He lifted us up out of that dunghill, right? He making us rich. That rich is going into our heaven. Read on.
To set them among princes. And to make them inherit the throne of glory.
Right.
For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he has set the world upon them. So
you see this thing. Everything is set up 2 and 2, one against another. Like you said, you bring it the poor and making the poor rich, the rich poor, man. This is going into your heaven or your hell, man. Right? You're going into what? Destruction, their destruction. If you don't make it to the kingdom, we make it where? To the lake of fire. It's either or. Ain't no gray area. You're not hanging in the middle. It's not that, well, I didn't go to heaven, but I didn't go to hell either. Turned down for what? Nah, it ain't that. You know how they do it. I didn't go to heaven, but I didn't go to hell either. Nah, you damn lie. It's one of them. It's one or the other, man. Let's go into Ezekiel 44 and 23. Let's go into holy versus profane. Holy versus profane, right? Because this is two works of the Most High God too, right? And he set up some things to be holy, and he said some things to be profane. Let's go to Ezekiel 44 and 23.
Book of Ezekiel 44:23. And they shall teach my people the difference between the holy and profane.
You see that? That's what we are set up to do. We are here to set up holy versus profane. That's what this class is. This class is to teach Israel that there is a holy and there's a profane. There's a holy people, there's a profane people. There's a holy dietary law, dietary guideline that we should live by, and profane dietary laws that we want to keep going by, right? This is what we should do. The Most High God said he charged us as Israel to teach his people to what? Learn from holy and profane. Read.
And cause them to discern between the unclean and the clean.
You see that? Unclean versus clean. Read on.
And in controversy, they shall stand in judgment.
But you see that? And that's another thing, Israel. You think it ain't going to be no problem. The Lord said in controversy. It's going to be some controversy out here.
Sure.
We're going to go to war out there with Esau and Amalek and them, man. Right? They're going to want to go to war. Like I said, they're going to have that pride on them. And they're going to think they gonna think they can get you. But he said in controversy, they shall stand in judgment. Read. 24.
No. And they shall judge according to my judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And they shall keep my laws and my statutes in all my assemblies. And they shall hallow my Sabbath.
So you see, the Most High said that we should put a difference. That's what his kingdom don't do. Esau's kingdom don't put a difference between holy and profane. It's everything is good or whatever, right? It's we're all one. We're all brothers. Well, we got to get out here and teach this, man. We got to teach that the works of the Most High God are 2 and 2. And this is the same thing that Ezekiel is telling us, man. Go out there and teach them that it's holy things that they should be doing and it's profane things that I do not approve of, right? Ezekiel 22 and 26.
Ezekiel 22 and 26.
Mm-hmm.
Her priests have violated my law
Mm-hmm.
and have profaned my holy things.
They did what?
Profaned my holy
It
things.
said they profaned my holy things. Holy versus profane. They profaned my holy things. To the opposite. But now we put it together. That's why we read Isaiah 5 and 20 said, woe to them that call good evil good, right? Because they have profaned the holy things. They have tried to make them things one. And you can't do that because the Most High made what? Every word what? 2 and 2. Read on.
They have put no difference between the holy and profane.
You see that? There's no difference in this world of holy and profane. They can eat pork. They can keep whatever Sabbath they want to keep, right? They can wear whatever they want to wear and get mad when they get called a whore or a thought, right? Doesn't make any sense. Read.
Neither have they shewed difference between the unclean and the clean, and have hid their eyes from my Sabbath.
From his Sabbath. Because now you got his Sabbath and you got Esau's Sabbath, right? Now you got what? High holy days versus what? Hella days, man. Right? Everything is 2 and 2. Everything. You either go keep the Sabbath of the Most High God made us to keep, or you go keep the Sabbath of Esau. You either go keep the Sabbath, which is Saturday, or you go to church on Sunday and then go eat some pork and swine right after church on Sunday. And they keeping no damn Sabbath. Not even a full day, right?
And it goes into that's a law. That goes into Leviticus. Let's go to it. Leviticus chapter 10, right quick.
Mm-hmm.
You say this thing right here goes into the law. I gotta kind of excuse me. I got this new swizzle. I'm trying to keep up, boy. It's hard to highlight. Well, I'm trying to get with it. Oh, praise the Most High. Leviticus chapter 10, start verse 10.
Leviticus 10 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
And that ye may put difference between the holy and unholy, and between the clean and unclean.
Say the same thing, read.
And that ye may teach the children of Israel all the statutes which the Lord has spoken unto them by the hands of Moses.
Like I said, it goes into a lot of men. We got to even teach our children the difference between clean and unclean, holy and unholy, right?
That's right. Read jump over to 11. Read 46 and 47.
11, 46, 47. This is the law of the beast, and of the fowl, and of every living creature that moveth in the water, and of every creature that creepeth upon the earth.
Read on.
To make a difference.
To make a difference between what?
Between the unclean and the clean.
You see that? It's a difference. All these animals that the Lord made, He still made us to have a difference between the unclean animal and the clean animal. But why would the Lord make the unclean animal? Damn it, because He did it. His works. Remember, He said, I'm the potter. You the clay.
Why you saying dust? You the one saying dust.
That's right. I did these things, man. Right? Read 47 again.
To make a difference between the unclean and the clean. And between the beast that may be eaten.
The two and what?
And the beast that may not be eaten.
And the two, right? 2 and 2. The beast that may be eaten and the beast that may not be eaten. Every work of the Most High God is 2 and 2, man. Right? Why do pig taste so damn good? Because sin. You know, sin feel good when you're doing it, man.
Feel good and taste good.
Sin feel good, it tastes good, right?
Yeah.
Smell good, all that was sin and everything, man. That don't mean you can do it, man. Because the Most High had His works divided, man. And we have to make a difference between His works, man. Go to Rock 34 and 4. So this is holy versus profane, man. These are 2 and 2. They go against each other, man. If you're not living holy, then you're living profanely, man.
Book of Sirach 34 and 4. Of an unclean thing, what can be cleansed?
What can be cleansed of an unclean thing? How can you get off of one side of the Most High God's work and get on the other side? How can Esau be that hate, but they swear that the Lord loves them just like He loved the children of Israel? How can pork and lobster and catfish be eaten with Thanksgiving, and the Most High said that they were unclean from the beginning? How can an unclean thing become clean? They can't. They play a part of what the Most High God made them. You own that part. If that's your part, then that's your part. If that's your lot, that's your lot, right? So He made 2 lots for the children of Israel and for every damn body else. It's a lot. The clean is a lot for the unclean. But of an unclean thing, who can make it clean? Nobody but the Most High God. And He didn't do it. Read that again.
Verse 4. Of an unclean thing, what can be cleansed? And from that thing which is false, what truth can come?
Because now you're going into what? Truth and a lie, right? You gotta have if you're not telling the truth, you're telling the what? A lie. We say this all the time. If you're telling partial truth, then what? You're still telling partial lies, right? You either telling all the truth or you telling some lie with it, man. They are 2 and 2. Read that last part again. And from that thing which is false. And from that thing which is false, Esau.
What truth can come?
What truth can come from it, man? They're on total opposite sides. You can't get truth from false. You can't get false out of truth, man. They're on one side, right? Now, nigga telling a lie, you can say, well, yeah, I know. He telling a lie, and I know that's the truth, right? Nigga lying. Esau lying. That's the damn truth, right? But they on both sides, man. I mean, they're on 2 inside. They are 2 and 2.
And sometimes you got to tell them, Esau, you a damn liar. Man.
That's right.
You just got to tell them sometimes.
You definitely do.
Well, Esau, you a damn liar.
Yeah, I got to, man.
They forget. Like, hold on. Don't forget Esau. You know you're a liar.
You know you're a damn liar, man. Okay. Let's go into light versus dark.
Okay, also the precept on Sirach 34 and 4 is what? Job 14 and 4. I'm gonna read it. He said, who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one.
Not one. Not one. You can't do it. Because these are the works of the Most High God. It's not our works. We're not out here telling our story. We're out here telling the Most High God's story, right? Let's go to light versus darkness, man, because these are two more works of the Most High God that he set against and opposite of each other. Let's go to Genesis. Start at 1.
Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep.
Darkness was upon the face of the deep. Read.
And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, let there be light. And there was light.
So it was darkness upon the face of the deep, right? But then the Lord said, let there be light. Right? Read on.
And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness.
And he did what?
Divided the light from the
You
darkness.
see his works from the beginning? Was light and darkness, man. Right? He divided light from darkness. Read on.
And God called the light day. And the darkness he called night.
So you see that? Because if it's not day, then it's what?
Right.
It's night. If it's not night, then it's what?
Okay.
It's day. Right? So you got light and darkness, man, right? And they can't comprehend each other, right? Go to John 1:4. That's why you say, and this is, man, good can't comprehend evil, man. Light can't comprehend darkness, man. If we go cut them lights off right now, there's no light. It's dark. But even though we had one light on in here, it was still light, right?
Good.
Now we cut the other light on, it got lighter. But they go 2 and 2.
Good.
It's either dark or it's light. John 1:4.
John 1:4. And in him was life, and the life was the light of men.
So we know this is going to Christ, the word that became flesh, right? And it said, in him was life, and the life was the light of men, right? Because we lived in darkness too long, man. Going into what? Sin, right?
That's right. And that's the reason why they couldn't receive Christ. Because they was walking in damn sin.
That's right,
and that's something Esau, well, they were rejected. Why were they rejected? Because the brothers and sisters, they was in sin. They couldn't see Christ.
That's right.
Right? And that's the reason why, it's the reason why not just Esau struggle, our people struggle too. That's in sin. You in sin, you can't see it. That's why you think 2/3 of our people gonna perish. Right?
That's why they couldn't understand Christ's teaching.
Right.
They didn't have an understanding of that thing, man. Right? Read 4 again.
In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness.
What does the light do?
Shineth in darkness.
That's why in Matthew 5:14 it said, you are the light of the world, man, a city that can't be hid on the hill. Because your light has to shine among darkness of this world. Your good works have to shine amongst what? Sin out here, man. Right? Read that again, 5.
And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not.
And read that again.
And the darkness comprehended it not.
You see how the light can't comprehend darkness? You see that? Light is against darkness, right? Good works are against sin, man. The godly is against the sinner. The godly is the light. The sinner is the darkness, right? They can't comprehend one another because they're on two sides. Must be two sides. Hey, what's the class? Must be two sides. It must be. Because light can't comprehend dark. Right?
And he goes into, I'll jump over chapter 3 and starting verse 18 right quick. Goes into the same thing I've been touching on, right? Make sure you have a precept down beside it. All right? Read it.
John 3:18. He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already.
You already in sin. Read.
Because he have not believed in the name of the only begotten Son
Read on.
of God. And this is the condemnation.
And this is the condemnation, right? You can explain it clearly, man. Read.
That light is come into the world.
Then it goes into Christ. The same thing talking about John chapter 1 and verse 4, right? Read.
And men love darkness rather than light.
So men love darkness rather than light, right? Read.
Because their deeds were evil.
Because their deeds were evil. They were in sin. That's why when Christ came into the world, they could perceive him because they was in evil works. Right?
That's why they said, give us Barabbas.
That's right.
And now don't give us that Negro, because shit, that Negro, they're talking all good. We evil. We wicked.
That's right. They evil. They wicked.
Yeah, we wicked. He on some good shit. We don't need shit, man. We over here, well, cleaning pots and pans. Eating pork right out of pots and pans, man.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 20.
For everyone that doeth evil hateth the light.
This is the reason why they had a problem with Christ, because everybody doing evil hated Christ. Right? Read.
Neither cometh to the light,
They ain't gonna come to the light. Read.
lest his deeds shall be
At
reproved.
least he repent, man. But read on.
But he that doeth truth cometh to the light,
Everybody that's keeping the commandments gonna come to the light. Read.
that his deeds may be,
That his deeds.
that his deeds may be made manifest.
This is how you get those talents. When you got 5, 2, and 1 talent, guess what? Your deeds will be manifested. If you want to hide it, guess what? Then you get taken away. Guess what? You can yield. You can real. And this goes into the 4 types of Israelites doing what? 30, 60, 100-fold, right? Read.
That they are wrought in God.
That they works doing God. Go
That's
ahead.
right. So you see that light can't comprehend darkness. Good precept. So you see they go against each other. Like I said, this is why we couldn't receive Christ's word, because we were in darkness. And light can't comprehend darkness because they're on total different sides, right? To the point where we end up killing our own king. That's crazy. And the Most High God, but that's how he made this thing, man. His works are 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Let's go into the law versus sin. The law versus sin. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 15 and 56. The law versus sin. Every work of the Most High God has 2 and 2. And he fashioned it of his pleasure. First Corinthians 15 and 56. Go.
First Corinthians 15, 56. The sting of death is sin.
The sting of death is sin, right? That is the sting of death, man, right? Read on.
And the strength of sin is the law.
Read that last part again.
And the strength of sin is the law.
The strength of sin is the law. What strengthens you from sinning?
The law.
The law, right? They on 2 different sides. Your strength in sin is within the law. When we out here keeping these laws, trying to come back to being Israelites, right? Trying to come back to who we are. That is the strength of our sin, right? Which is keeping the law. Like I just said, you have to live the life of an Israelite, man. That's what strengthens you in your sin, right? Which is the law. That's a law. Let's go to Romans, man. In fact, let's go to 1 John 3 and 4. So the strength of sin is the law. That's what strengthens you within sin is keeping the law. Because they're on 2 different sides, man. If you're a sinner, you're not keeping the law. If you're a law keeper, then you're not sinning, right? Because who was the law made for?
Israel.
But it was made for what? The law was made for a sinner, right? Because that is your strength of sin is the law. 1 John 3 and 4.
1 John 3 and 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law.
You see that? What sin is? It is the transgression. It's the breaking of the law. It's opposite of the law, right? Sin is the transgression of the law or breaking of the law. So you see they're on 2 different sides. Sin versus the law. Read that again.
Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law.
Sin is the transgression of the law, right? And what does the law and what does sin equal it to?
Yeah.
Death, man. But it's not that first death, that second death, man. But keeping the law is life, right? But sin equals to death. The law, when you're keeping the law, it's like right now, we live in life. I always say this. I did not start living life until I started keeping the law of the Most High God. Until I started understanding who I was as a person. I understood my reasoning. I understood my life. I understood my purpose. So now I'm living life. But if you're not and you're sinning, then you what? That's equal to death, which is what? The second death. Let's go to 1 Timothy 1:9.
Yeah, because some people, what you say on rap, they were sinning and they winning at the same time.
Sinning and winning.
And a lot of us felt that way.
You ain't lying.
A lot of us did.
We sure did.
1 Timothy 1:9.
Bring it out.
Knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man.
Read that again.
Knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man.
Because what is righteous? Which is what? Keeping the law, right? So the law wasn't made for a law keeper, right? It wouldn't be right because the works of the Most High God are what? 2 and 2. So the law wasn't made for a law keeper. Read on.
But for the lawless.
But for the lawless. If you're not keeping the law, you're in what? Sin. The law was made for a sinner. You see that? Read on.
But for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly and for the sinner.
You see that?
And guess what? So guess what? So that means that the law stands for everybody because everybody follow up under all those categories.
That's right. Disobedient, right? Sinner, unholy, profane. Read on.
For the disobedient, for the ungodly, and for the sinners, for unholy and profane, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers.
And like you said, I said everybody fall in that. Because a murderer is not just somebody that kills. A murderer is somebody that what? Hates. You're a murderer if you hate your mother, you hate your father, you hate your brother in your heart, man. You're a murderer. Everybody fall up under that. We all done hated some Negroes before in our lives. Still hating people right now to this day. I know we do. We got to get that out of us.
Yeah, because some people, guess what? And we got to learn to shake it. Some people do. Some people still, guess what? It's some people that's in the truth that still hate other Israelites. They got pure hate for another Israelite, man.
That's right.
Right.
Read on.
For manslayers, for whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind.
Read.
For men stealers, for liars.
For what?
For liars.
No, boy, I'm telling that. Well, you know, it's a boy. We can tell us a lie with the quickness too. Hey, come on, man. We quick on that lie, man. Real quick. Read on.
For persecute person. And if there be any other thing that is contrary to sound doctrine.
And you know, boy, so Israel want to be like the Athenians, right? Want to tell some new thing. Anything that's against sound doctrine. So if everybody falls under one of these words, at least one. And these words equal up to what? Unrighteousness, which is what? Sin. The law was made for a sinner, not for a law keeper.
So guess what? So that means that if anybody fall upon this mug, that means the law is for you.
That's right. That's right. That's basically what they're saying, right? That's right. Romans 4:15, man.
And that's how Paul had to talk, man. You know, Paul was an eloquent man in speech. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when he writing those things, guess what, man? That's why people say, man, it's gonna be hard for this understood, man. But if you understand scripture, guess what? When you keep the commandments, guess what? These things open up to your brain, man. You understand these things. Right?
Romans 4:15. Because the law worketh wrath, for where no law is, there is no transgression.
You see that? Because where ain't no law, ain't no sin. Right? Because what do I got that? Yeah. Read that again.
Because the law worketh wrath, for where no law is, there is no transgression.
Where no law is, there is no transgression, man, right? Because What did Paul say? He said, if I didn't know sin, if I didn't know that the law, I wouldn't have known sin, right? Because they on opposite sides, right? Let's go to Galatians 5:23.
Galatians 5:23. Meekness, temperance.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Galatians 5:23.
Mm-hmm.
Meekness, temperance, against such there is no law.
Start at 22.
But the fruit of the Spirit is love.
So if you're loving, right, read on.
Joy.
If you have joy in your heart, read on.
Peace. Long suffering.
If you are long suffering, like the Most High, like the Most High God is for us, read on.
Gentleness. Goodness. Faith.
Read on.
Meekness. Temperance.
If you have these works, then what?
Against such there is no law.
There is no law against good works.
There's no law against peace. No law against long suffering. There's no law against gentleness. There's no law against goodness, man.
That's right, because they're on the same side, right? You see that?
Yeah.
They are of the law. If you keeping these things, then there's no law to that. But as soon as you go off that thing, and what's the opposite of what? Temperance. Having a damn attitude.
Yeah,
right? Wrath, right? What's the opposite of damn joy? Hate, right?
Yeah.
What's the opposite of love? Hate, right?
Yeah.
But if this is where you start getting into the law now, right? But when you're doing these things, ain't no law toward these good works because they're on the same side. But immediately after you go on the opposite side, now you get into sin, and that's what law was made for, a sinner, right? Let's get a couple precepts on Israel versus the heathen. Man. First Maccabees 2:48. What are you talking about? Go to First Maccabees 2:48.
The book of First Maccabees 2:48. So they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles.
Read that again.
So they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles.
Because they not even supposed to have our book. We out there really going against the heathen, but we really ought to be taking the books out of their damn hands, man. Because this is what during the Maccabean point of time, they recovered the law out of the heathen's hands, right? That's what the Maccabeans were fighting for, man.
Good.
Right? And they did what? Read that again.
So they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles and out of the hand of kings.
Read on.
Now, when the time drew near that Matthias should die.
Mattathias, that's all I want to know.
Okay.
That's right. So they recovered the law out of the hands of the heathen because the heathen ain't supposed to have our book, man. That ain't even supposed to have our law. So you got Israel versus the heathen, they ain't supposed to have our law. Go to Psalms 50 and 16. Yeah,
Psalms 50 and 16. But unto the wicked, God saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statute?
You see that? They not supposed to have declare my statute. What are you doing with my law, with my statute? Right? Because the heathen are not supposed to have that. That was given to the priests. So, and who are the royal priests today? We are, right? Yeah. The priests were supposed to give the law, but now we are the priests, right? According to what? 1 Peter 2 and 9, right? We are those priests, right?
I don't understand how, I'm doing kind of reading the comment board. How can the heathen, how can any prophet in the Bible, including Paul, dictate any law over Christ? It makes no sense.
It makes no sense, man.
But they try to find a loophole to get it to justify their works. Man, come on. Man,
And then they
stop
pull
praying.
one damn precept, man. Knowing damn well you ain't got no witness behind none of these things, man. Knowing when you better have a little more bullets in your gun, man.
Yeah, man.
You playing Russian roulette, Edomite. It ain't gonna work, man.
I'm telling you something. This Bible hurt them so bad to the point, man. Guess what? Y'all get annihilated with this Bible. Y'all come back again, man. Y'all gave us the clue on y'all movie. When we kill y'all off, guess what, man? We got to make sure that we don't walk away. We got to bring y'all ass off the planet because y'all ass will pop back up and try one more time. Man.
That's right, man.
God, dang, boy.
Let's go to 2 Edges 3 and 31.
You want to finish it?
Yeah, finish that out.
But unto the wicked God saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth?
I'll pray. Yeah, now go to 2 Edges 3 and 31.
Second Ezra 3 and 31. I do not remember how this way may be left. Are they then of Babylon better than they of Zion?
Mm-hmm. Read that again.
I do not remember how this way may be left. Are they then of Babylon better than they of Zion?
Are they better than us? Right?
And because guess what that's talking about? It's talking about us because we went into captivity in Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
So is Babylon better than us?
That's
That's
right.
why they asking the question.
That's right.
Is Babylon better than us? Just like we in America. Is Esau better than us?
Come on, man.
That's what what the Lord looking at y'all. Y'all think they better than y'all? I mean, what's going on with y'all, man?
Mm-hmm. For real.
Right? We ride past their barbecue joints. You don't smell no kind of smell, man. I don't smell no smell, man.
Just smoke.
Just smoke, man. What a smell is, man. Guess what, man? One of us find a grill up in our yard, man. Smell that walk around the corner, man. Come on, man.
Well, he came to the crib the other night. He talking about it's over. You might have to learn how to fry chicken. I said, word. Boy, stop lying. Learn how to see chicken. I said, yeah, right. I said, word. I'm gonna go hit the spot tonight. I can make you out a damn lie. No, they can't.
See, man, just because you season the skin don't make it season.
Nah, for real. For real.
Wrong inside.
That's right, man. So you see it saying, is the other nations better than us? No, hell no. Because Israel is the top dog, right? And we know that in what? Romans, man. Let's get there real quick.
Romans 3.
Yeah. Romans 3. And boy, we done seen so many Edomites and pastors butchered Romans 3.
Mm-hmm.
How in the hell can you go from letting you know that we have an advantage to going down to 13, 9, 10, 11, 12? Say, well, see, ain't no advantage. It's talking about our Israel, man. It's talking about the northern kingdom, man. It's talking about Gentiles in the state of mind of Israel. Aqua Joshua said, can you touch on the adoption, what that means for our people versus the other nations and precept? I will go there a little bit. Read Romans 3 and 1.
I touched on it on Monday night class a little bit.
Yeah.
Romans 3 and 1.
Precept? I'm gonna go there.
What advantage then have the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision?
Read on.
Much in every way.
Much every way. You can't get around this, man. Either the scriptures contradicting this damn self from 1 and 2 down to 9 and 10, or damn it, somebody don't know what the hell they talking about. Much every way. Read.
Chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God.
Because we have the oracles of God, because we were given the law. Because we are the lawgivers. That's why, because the Most High gave his nation the law, mainly because of that reason and that reason alone. But we see that we are faster, smarter, right? Stronger. The scripture said that one shall be stronger than the other. Back in Genesis. We know these things, man. chiefly every way, mainly because we have the law, right? Because that is all. That's the only thing to make us a great nation. Most High gave us the law.
That's right. That's why they're gonna look at us and say, "Man, this is wise and understanding people."
That's right. According to Deuteronomy what?
7.
No.
Wait, no.
4 and 6, 4 and 5,
6,
6,
7,
right.
8.
Right.
Right.
Let's go to Romans
Hold on,
11.
read that verse 3. You gotta read that.
Go ahead.
For what if some did not believe?
What if some didn't believe that we was packing, man, that we was top dog?
What if they didn't believe that? What if they didn't believe that Jews had the advantage? What if they didn't believe that the circumcision, we the children of the circumcision, wasn't an advantage? What if they didn't believe that?
That's right.
What if our own people didn't believe? Right?
What if they didn't?
What if they didn't believe?
Read.
Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? God forbid.
Hell nah, it's just y'all problem. We in here, we believe, right? We believe, master shit. Put that unbelief on us. We believe that we got the advantage. And we see it.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every day we see it. Let's go to Romans 11, man. Start at 15. We'll read down a little bit. Going to adoption, going to grafting, and this all, man. We pertain to adoption. And you know Romans 9 and 4. Romans 9 is the heavy hitter, right?
Romans 11 and 15. For if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world, what shall the receiving of them be but life from the dead?
If the casting away of them be reconciling of the world, because who was casting away? The northern kingdom. But now it's the reconciling of the world, because who is that world that we're referring to? Israel. But now it's bringing back that world together, which is the northern kingdom, right? They don't see this. They don't get this. This is the only adoption that there is. Read on.
For if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy.
The first fruit. If the first fruit be holy, then what?
The lump is also holy.
They are still Israelites, man, right? They just were Israelites in a Gentile state of mind, man. The northern kingdom was cast off, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the Most High said that first fruit was always holy, even that lump, right? Read on.
And if the root be holy, so are the branches.
But see, now we're dealing with root and branches. The root. What is the root? That's the beginning, right? What is that root? What is the root? The root is going into the beginning. Because when you pull something out of the ground and you grab it by the roots, that's when you get all of it, right? The root is the beginning. From the beginning. The other nations were never from the beginning to be reconciled. He's telling you, we got to understand these things, man. We don't see this thing, man.
Let's go to Revelation 22 and verse 16. See what Christ himself said, man. Right? Because they not of the tribe of Israel, man. Right? They ain't Israel, so it doesn't pertain to them, man. Right? Because we know in Hebrews 7 and 14, it is evident that our Lord sprang out of the tribe of Judah. Right?
That's right.
Read it out. Revelation 22 and 16. 16, right?
Yeah, 16.
All right. I, Yahushua, have sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches.
Read it.
I am the root.
Read
what?
it again.
I am the root.
Come on, man. I am the root, man. This is Christ, man. He is that root, man. Read.
And it's going to make it even clearer, man.
And the offspring of David.
No, it's the offspring of Esau, man.
The offspring of David.
Man, it's clear, man.
There ain't no way around it. You can't get around it, man. Right?
And the bright and morning star.
Come on, let's jump back to 16. Boy, that's tough. And if the root be holy, Christ, right? Then so are the branches, his people. Because like we said in Matthew 1:21, Christ came to redeem who? His people. He is that root, that offspring of David, that seed of David. Did the Edomites come out of the seed of David? They come from that bloodline. We went to Revelation. We went to Genesis today and showed you 2 nations, 2 different manner of people. Right? Read 16 again.
For if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches.
God, read
Now,
on.
who are the branches?
That's right.
We get the
Let's
branches.
get the
too,
branches.
man.
Let's go.
We go to John chapter 15 and verse 5. We get the branches too, man. We make it plain. Because the Lord, we know the Lord's favorite tree is the what? No. The vine. The Lord's favorite tree is the vine, right? John 15 and 5, man. Read.
John 15 and 5. And it reads, I am the vine.
He is the tree. Read.
Ye are the branches.
We are the branches, man. Right? Let's make it clear, man. Read.
He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me, ye can do nothing.
Then this goes into, like, I guess when you just jump down to verse 10, he said, if ye keep my commandments, then ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandment and abide in his love. This is going to what Christ is speaking about, man. Right? Going to the same thing, man. And
Right.
who the commandments given to is always to Israel, man. Right? Go back up.
Let's go back to Romans 11. Big time.
Verse 17. And if some of the branches be broken off.
Now we still talking about this same tree with this same root, with these same branches, right? We are not talking about a different tree. We are not talking about different trees. We're talking about the same tree with the same root with the same branches. And if some of the branches be broken off, who was that? Who was that? The northern kingdom, right? Read on.
And thou, being a wild olive tree, wert grafted in amongst them.
So I guess they think that's who they are, right? Wild olive tree.
No.
They can't be an olive tree, right? Because that's one of the Most High God's favorite 2 olive, man.
Sure.
Can we get a precept in there too? Let's see what the scriptures say, man. Let's go to James chapter 3, verse 12. Let's go. One against another again. Read that out.
James 3 and 12. Can a fig tree, my brethren?
He said, my brother.
My brother.
My nigga. Can a fig tree, my nigga?
My brother.
Read.
Bear olive berries?
Come on, man. Can a fig tree bear olive berries?
Can't do it.
Nope.
This is a dang on question he asking, man.
Can't
Can
do it.
it do it? Right? Read.
Either a vine, figs,
Come on, man.
so can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh.
So just like you can't grab another tree in with another tree, just like salt water can't match with fresh water.
That's right.
Telling you the same way. You can't get around this, man.
Them also 2 more words. You're right, because you know that what salt water can't go with that fresh water, man.
Can't do it. You just can't do it, man. All right.
Let's go back. You see that? So read 17 again.
And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou, being a wild olive tree.
So even though it's a wild, it's still what kind of tree?
A wild olive tree.
It's still an olive tree. We're not talking about bringing no apple tree in here. They ain't talking about bringing in no any other kind of tree, right? Read on.
Weren't grafted in among them, and when them partakers of the root and fatness of the olive tree.
You see that? I brought that precept about them that partakers of the root. Who is that root?
Revelation 22:16.
Which is who?
Israel.
Christ.
No, Christ.
Right? You good. Which is Christ. Christ is that root. So you see, Christ comes from the same name as who?
David.
That's right. The seed of Abraham, through the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David, through that bloodline.
So it matches what? Matthew chapter 1 and verse 21.
That's
When
right.
it goes through the bloodline of Christ, and it mentions Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David. It goes straight through the bloodline, man. It didn't change course, right?
Read on.
Boast not against the branches, but if thou boastest, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee.
So it's saying don't boast against those branches. Don't be against. This is the same thing that Peter was trying to get understanding of in Acts. That he said, I should call no man clean or unclean, because those are your brothers. It was talking about Israel. Don't boast against those branches, because you're doing a little better than them branches right now, because they still your people. Right? Read on.
If thou wilt say then, the branches were broken off, that I might be grafted in. Well, because of unbelief, they were broken off.
The only reason they were broken off was because of unbelief.
That's right.
Because they were in a Gentile state of mind. Because the Syrians did a number on our northern kingdom, right? Had them in unbelief, right? That's the only reason. Read on.
And thou standest by faith. Be not high-minded, but fear.
It said don't be high-minded on this thing, man. But always have fear of your God. Read on.
For if God spared not the natural branches, take heed, lest he also spare not thee.
Because just like the Most High God, what? Did away with the northern kingdom, he'll do it to you too. Don't get it twisted now. Don't boast. That's going to tell Ephesians 2 and 8 and 9 about not boasting too, man. Right? It's the gift of the Most High God, man. Don't get it twisted, man. A lot of the Israelites think they the top Israelite in the world, man. Yeah, man, you know, I'm Israelite. Like I said, they put themselves on 144. You better stop playing. Don't boast.
Hey,
All right, let's go get where it's coming from. Go to Jeremiah chapter 11 right quick.
Number 16.
All these things, like you say, what I'm touching on, man, it's still one against another, man.
That's right.
It's still, guess what? That's why I was explaining the law, and he said everything that was good, that was with the law. There was no law against those things.
That's right. Ain't no law against it.
Read that out.
Jeremiah 11 and 16. 16. The Lord called thy name a green olive tree, fair and of goodly fruit, with the noise of a great tumult. He had kindred fire upon it.
Kindle fire upon the reed.
And the branches of it are broken.
Now, this is going into what we just got to read. This is prophecy. So, like when Esau always like to talk, but guess what? When we read things, these come from a prophecy why this thing is being displayed in the New Testament, right? Or read it.
Verse 17. For the Lord of hosts that planted thee had pronounced evil against thee.
Read.
For the evil of the house of Israel
Read on.
and of the house of Judah,
Read on.
which they have done against themselves to provoke me to anger in offering incense unto Baal.
Unto the devil, man. This is how the branches got broken out in the first place, right? Because we did evil for our God, and our God was kindled, and he was mad against it. So he said, you know what? I got to cut y'all off, man.
That's right.
Right? This is why our God, hey, I know a lot of times it'd be too much for Esau to handle this because they can't take it nowhere.
They definitely can't.
Right?
Let's go back to Rome.
Verse 22. Behold, therefore, the goodness and the severity of God on them which fell severity, but towards thee goodness, if thou continue in his goodness.
And what is that going into? He said, behold, therefore the goodness and severity of God of them which fell. Who is that's going into, man? Let's go to First Corinthians, man. This goes in the Northern Kingdom. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2, man.
Also going to 2 and 2. Man.
Going into the what? 2 and 2. Right?
1 Corinthians 12 and 2. Ye know that ye were Gentiles.
Guess what? The Lord is telling Israel, guess what? You know you were Gentiles. You were a Gentile. Guess what? before we knew we was Israelite, guess what we were thinking we were? Gentiles.
That's right. We were Gentiles. We were.
Right? Before we started keeping the commandments, guess what? In Israel, they Israel, but they ain't keeping the commandments. Guess what? They still got a Gentile state of mind, right? Guess what? And he's gonna explain how we were Gentiles, not because we was Israel. This is gonna explain why we were Gentiles. Read on.
Carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led.
Because we was led to, guess what? Go into idolatry, man.
That's right.
Right? And this lines up with wisdom and Solomon. How, guess what? The sin that was first came into the world was what? Idolatry. Right? That's how we was carried away even from the beginning. Right?
That's right.
Go ahead.
Because
Go
back to verse 22.
Behold, therefore, the goodness and the severity of God on them which fell, severity, but towards thee, goodness, if thou continue in his goodness. Otherwise, thou also shalt be cut off.
Read 23.
And they also, if they abide not still in unbelief.
If they abide not still in the unbelief, right? Those were Gentiles, right? Read on.
Shall be grafted in.
They shall be what?
Grafted in. For God is able to graft them in again.
Right, man. Did y'all hear that key word in there?
God is
what? Again. How can you come into something that you never was a part of? That one word right there cuts that doctrine up to the shreds, along with the precepts that I done pulled too. But it says, how can it be grafted in? He said they will be grafted in again. If you stop acting like a word Gentile, right? If you knock out that unbelief, if you stop going after them other doctrines and choosing other gods, he said you'll be grafted in again. I mean, you'll come back to the fold again that you was already part of, man. That's the adoption of Israel, man. It's not everybody, man. They don't pertain any grafted in or adoption. That's only for us, man. Got anything else on? Let's go to Deuteronomy 30 and 19. We say keep the laws of the Most High God. We always want to end the class with a law. Hope brothers and sisters got some edification tonight out of a nice class. We got some precepts. Tried to go in and start answering a few questions. Really wasn't a Q&A, but we will answer all questions. We promise. We ain't never hiding the question. We really thank y'all for tuning in and want to ask questions. They give us avenues to go and research and do more understanding, and just to keep us on top of our game as well too, right? And then your question might be uplifted for the next person who don't want to ask the question. So we appreciate y'all for looking and tuning in. Like we said, we always say keep the laws of the Most High God. Let's go to Deuteronomy 30 and 19.
Deuteronomy 30 and 19. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death.
You said before us what?
Life and death.
See that? Life is against death, right? Read on.
Blessing and cursing.
Blessings on one side and cursings on the other side, man. These things are all 2 and 2, right? Read on.
Therefore choose life.
What did he tell us to do?
Therefore choose life.
Choose life, Israel, right? Choose the commandments, man. Living is the commandments. Read on.
That both thou and thy seed may live.
And that's for you and your seed for longevity, right? So he set good against evil. He set life against death, blessings against cursing. All of the works of the Most High God are 2 and 2, man. One against another. He's fashioned that in his own word, man. All right? You got anything? All right, see you later. With that, Israel, we say shalom. Y'all tune in and my new moon coming up Thursday night. Tomorrow night. Well, tomorrow night. What is we going about fast?
Got triple play this week.
Triple play. Got the new moon. Got Pentecost coming up as well, man. And the Sabbath. So we got a busy schedule coming up, Israel. Y'all call us, hit us up on YouTube, hit us up on our email. Ask any questions, man. We can get to it. If y'all want classes to be brought out, let us know, man, so we can try to put this understanding out to Israel. With that, say shalom.
Shalom.